Hey guys, welcome to another episode of a Viking Samurai channel update. I might do these every week, minimum once a month. Really depends on the kind of engagement views it gets, if you guys enjoy these. Also, what I come across during the week and want to share, if I come across enough stuff. So in this week, kind of a continuation on last week's, because I had said, if you got any questions, kind of do a Q&A on these. Post your questions below and I'll answer them. So I'll field some of those. Also, do a round of the good, the bad, and the ugly at the end of this episode, responding to a good, bad, and ugly comment, ugly one, aka troll response on being called a pretender and being exposed. So, and there's an ironic part of that whole thing, so you don't want to miss that. It's a great response to this troll. The other things I'll cover, I'll do some pickups. So I got some new books and movies that I picked up at the used book movie store that I'll share with you guys, kind of like let you know what I'm going to be reading and watching in the next few months. And then I put a poll up last week on what series you guys want me to prioritize. So we'll go over that as well and share some comments from that. Oh, I do want to give a shout out, by the way, to my buddy in Australia, Vance Ang. He writes for a lot of fitness related publications and also Film Combat Syndicate. I'll link that below if you want to check it out. You can check out his articles and just check out that whole site. They cover a lot of cool stuff. But anyway, he knows like the manufacturers and people involved with a lot of supplement companies. And I don't really take pre-workouts, but he did hook me up. And I'm going to get some feedback real quick. G Fuel, this one's pretty good. It actually tastes pretty good. They got a lot of different flavors. But this one's not so much a stimulant. It really helps you with focus, and it's got different nootropics and things like that. Now, caffeine, it does have some caffeine, 140 milligrams, which isn't a crazy amount, but I wouldn't necessarily call this like a stimulant per se. But this actually has helped my workout a little bit. Now, I don't want to get in the habit of like using it all the time, right? But if you need that pickup or maybe leg day, it's not a bad thing to use. So I actually would recommend G Fuel to people. And another one he got me, and this is from an Australian company, International Protein, Warhammer. Now, if you want a stimulant and a pickup, try Warhammer. This will wake you up. I mean, it's got 350 milligrams of caffeine. It's got 200 milligrams of green tea. It's got bitter orange synephrine, 2,000 milligrams of taurine. Like, this is the one you want to try for a stimulant. This one will give you a little bit of a stimulant, but more for focus. So thanks, Vance. These were cool. I will definitely be using this on some of my leg days. That one also tastes good as well. But anyway, you could find the info in the link below. I just wanted to give a shout out for him hooking me up with these. Okay, so let's start off with the poll. I posted a poll last week on what video series that you guys wanted me to prioritize. So let's go over the poll results real quick. Okay, so the options were top 5 straight-to-video martial arts stars of the 90s. Got 56% of the vote, and that's really cool because I'm gonna cover guys like Billy Blanks and Gary Daniels, and I have my top 5 not necessarily in order. Let me know what your guys' top 5 are below. I'm really curious what the community thinks. And then another option, how I got in the best shape of my life at 40, all natural. 31%. So enough people are curious about that. I will do a whole series breaking everything down of the full stretching, the martial art drills, the weightlifting, the diet. Gonna do a detailed series on that, multi-episode, and I think there's gonna be some very useful information. Now, I don't necessarily think anybody should do it verbatim. I mean, like, you guys could if you want, but essentially the purpose of putting that out there is that I think anybody could take like a few things or it could spur ideas. So it's kind of like ties into that whole Bruce Lee quote, absorb what is useful, discard what is not, add what is uniquely your own. I mean, the quote, I might have messed up a few words, but that's essentially the gist of it. So with my whole routine, utilize things that you think could be useful and then just discard the rest. But I've been doing it consistently for 26 years, and I think there's something there that you guys can get from it and say, oh, actually, this is actually pretty good. I'll implement this little thing in my routine. So hopefully I'll just kind of spur ideas or maybe even motivate, inspire some of you guys to either get back in the gym or take things up a notch. I mean, I've taken things up a notch myself over the last few months, and I'm going to share all that experience. Another thing, okay, hot daughters of action stars, 8%. Not as many people interested in that. I only did one episode so far on Steven Skull's daughter. I'll probably eventually finish that series because I still want to cover Van Damme, his daughter, and then Dolph Lundgren's, and then Stallone's. So I'll probably eventually finish that series. And then other poster suggestions in the comments below. 5% of the vote. But let me share a couple of the comments that poll had received. The first comment from Mr. Robo. A video on how Don the Dragon Wilson had such an impressive kickboxing career, but somehow had horrible fight scenes in his movies. I mean, it is kind of true, honestly. That is an interesting video topic. I may cover that. I may very well cover that. Another one, Slider X. Hot Daughters of Action Stars sounds a little pervy. It was my wife's idea, but if you see the first episode I did on Seagull's daughter, I try to keep it pretty classy and respectable. So I plan to still eventually finish that series, but it's definitely not a priority. I mean, I only got 8% of the vote. All right, poll comment number 3 from Awesome 4K. I have a cool suggestion. How about review and rate every single Van Damme, Stallone, Bruce Lee, Steven Skull movie posters? That's actually kind of a cool idea. That's kind of a cool idea. I mean, they got a lot of really cool posters. I mean, like Cyborg, for example. I should review that poster. Cobra's got a really cool poster. I always remember seeing the box in the video store with his laser, red light on the gun, and he's got the matchstick and the sunglasses. So, yeah, that's going to be a cool little video thing I can do for sure, man. Poll comment number 4 from Alexandru. Please do a video about Mickey Rourke or Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell I will cover in, obviously I'll have to do a video on Tango and Cash, but Big Trouble in Little China. Funny enough, I plan to have James Pax, who played the Lightning Dude in that movie, on the channel. We're going to discuss different things, so that'll be cool in the future. As far as Mickey Rourke goes, a couple weeks ago I actually talked to one of the producers on The Wrestler, and he's also a producer on a newer documentary you guys should check out, 350 Days. Basically, it's about wrestling, and these guys spend 350 days on the road, which is insane. But we obviously talked about Mickey Rourke, and I'll put some content out pretty soon. But in the meantime, check out that documentary, 350 Days. Check that out. That's a rough life, man. Okay, now as far as like the questions you guys posted in last week's video, I'll field a few of those right now. Leroy V said, have you ever met JCVD in person? I have not, but there's another guy that commented on this, the Flying Ninja 1. I met him once in 2016. So if any of you guys met Jean-Claude Van Damme in person, please post below, share that experience, whether it was positive or negative. I'm curious to read anything, good or bad. Really curious. Question number 2, Liam Fountain. Congratulations on 2 years. Love the channel. Have you ever seen Hard Times with Charles Bronson? Of course. Freaking love that movie. Charles Bronson is amazing in that. I think he was 50 years old when he made it, which is insane, like if you see him in the film. But yeah, as far as underground fight films, that kind of like motivated Sheldon Lettich and Van Damme to come out with Lionheart, and then a movie that was inspired by Lionheart and Hard Times. Universal, who put out Lionheart, also later would put out Fighting with Channing Tatum, which actually holds up pretty damn well. I actually seen it recently, seen Hard Times recently too. So those are 3 really great underground fight films. I recommend you guys check them all out. I know most of you have already seen Lionheart. If you haven't seen Hard Times, check that out. If you haven't seen Fighting with Channing Tatum, check that out. These are all cool movies. Probably my 3 favorite underground fight films because they all have good production values, great acting, put out by major studios, and it does set it apart from a lot of like the straight-to-video movies. There's just like a higher quality factor, and I know you don't necessarily look for like great acting in these kind of movies, but trust me, it helps. And having good co-stars and characters you care about, it goes a long way. I think in the martial arts genre, I think expectations in the bar are set low in a lot of ways where we don't expect that much. We don't expect great acting or great production values or all that. I mean, maybe we did in the 80s and 90s, but nowadays we don't. And I think that's a shame because the bar is set low. When people make a lot of these movies, they know the expectations are low, and they know people are probably just looking for a couple cool fights, and sometimes they don't even get that part right. But I think we need more from these. We need characters we care about. We need a good story. We need a good script. We need good production values. We need basically good cinematography. We need good sound design. I think we need to raise the bar in the martial arts genre. Anyway, the next question Would love to know more about your good self, the meaning behind Viking Samurai, and at what age you started martial arts. I've mentioned like myself being a fan of the 80s and 90s, but was there a particular film or martial arts star that inspired you the most? Of course, Jean-Claude Van Damme inspired me the most, even from like a physique standpoint. I would say he inspired me more than like guys I would see in the bodybuilding mags, right? Because in my opinion, he's got like that physique where you can get that naturally. And it's not the biggest physique, it's not the leanest physique, but it's big enough, it's lean enough, it's very aesthetically pleasing. This is like the physique a woman would see on a guy. And let's face it, a lot of us work out because we want women to like what they see. At the end of the day, there is that aspect of what motivates people to train in the gym. I always say you should do it for yourself, but that is another motivating reason as well. You want to look good, right? Like on the beach or anywhere. But that's about the ideal physique, I think, for like a natural guy to strive for, as far as like something you can maintain year round and still be healthy. It's not so lean where you feel like crap and it's unhealthy, and it's not like overly big where you can't even like move that good anymore, because obviously he's a martial artist, right? So it's just it's ideal in a lot of ways. But anyway, meaning behind Viking Samurai, a couple of reasons. Like there are ancestral ties to it. Like I'm pretty mixed overall, but essentially I'm half white and half Asian. But if you break down the white side, there's Northern European there, but there's also like a lot of German and a pretty good amount of Eastern European. But there is Northern European there. Now on the Asian side, I'm primarily Korean, but there is Japanese there. And I know that because of 23andMe DNA testing, which it's weird because it's fluid. Like sometimes when I check, I might be 10% Japanese, or I might be 6%, or maybe 15%. And as they collect new data, they like revise it, which is weird and kind of brings in a whole philosophical question on the nature of identity. Like, how do you identify? Like on my Asian side, if you think about it, like my mom would identify as Korean because she was born in Korea. She grew up in that culture. She speaks Korean. So going by that perspective, she's just Korean. But if you do it from a DNA perspective, she's also Japanese, which is why I'm part Japanese. Well, I wouldn't have even known had I not done that 23andMe DNA test. Same goes with the European side. So it just kind of brings in a question of how you identify with, and because it shouldn't really be fluid. Oh, today I feel 10% Japanese. Next week maybe 15%. It's like it's really weird to think about, man. But it is eye opening, and I think a lot of people will realize they're a lot more mixed than they think. And I think it's a good thing because it's not like you're just this little box you can check off, but you're like a whole multitude of boxes. And if you think about it like that way, it's like we are a lot more alike than different. And that goes a long way to, you should see people that way. Like we a lot more in common than differences. And we should get along because of that. We should get along because of that. Anyway, I don't want to go too deep into that. Oh, so another thing about the name, it's just got a cool flow, man. Viking Samurai. And it's original. It's not like I'm Viking Samurai 23. Like there's a bunch of other dudes that have that name. It's like, no, this one's mine. Like no one else had that. It's original. So it's like, I need that. I need that originality. It's got the ancestral ties. And also the warrior mentality. And when I say that, it's, when you think of Viking and Samurai, it's not like you think of negativity that much. You think like these are like warriors. And I look at it more as an anti-victim thing. Like if you look at the mainstream media, how they try to like portray different groups as victims. And I hate that because it disempowers people. It makes them think they can't achieve anything. And like you don't have to have any accountability. Like you should look in the mirror, and if you don't like your situation, you should honestly ask yourself, have I done everything in my power to improve my situation? I highly doubt anyone's going to say yes. And when you realize, you know what, I'm in my certain position in life because I need to blame myself. I didn't do what I needed to do in order to get what I wanted to get and get where I wanted to go. And when you believe that, and when you know that, and when you're honest with yourself, that is the most empowering thing. So even though sometimes some people might be a victim of circumstance, I mean, hell, even in a movie like Rambo, in a lot of ways was a victim of circumstance, right? I mean, that does happen. But to break that part of the attitude where, you know what, I don't have to be a victim, despite what the mainstream media and other things are like trying to brainwash you with. It's like, you know what? I actually have control. I have power. I blame myself for being in this situation, but that is so goddamn empowering because if I can blame myself, I have control to change things in the direction where I'm heading, and that's a powerful thing. So for me, Viking Samurai is just it's anti-victimhood. It's warrior. Like I'm gonna be in control of my life, and I'm gonna get where I'm gonna get based on my effort and my attitude and my discipline and my consistency. It's powerful, man. Everybody should live like that. So Viking Samurai, attitude wise, everybody should incorporate that. Okay, now what age did I start martial arts? Well, technically at 6. I did like a year of judo, but I really say 14 is when I really wanted to do it, and then I never looked back. And I started with taekwondo. So basically 14. Been doing it for, 27 years now. It's a long time. Time goes by fast. And that's another thing with the anti-victim thing. If you think about it, we are on this planet in this life once. We got a few good decades to make the best of it we can. Don't be a freaking victim during that time because you just waste your entire life. So anyway, I think that's the whole purpose and what gives life meaning is that we do die someday. And essentially, I think this is all a testing ground. And I think you should look forward to and try to strive for growth and development in all kinds of areas, physically, mentally, spiritually, warrior attitude. So anyway, I want to go too much far in that, going off on the tangent there. Question number 5. What camera mic do you use to make videos? I'll be very glad if you answer that. It's from DOS Solo Syndicate. Well, I use the Logitech C922x Webcam. I'll link that in the description below if you want to pick that up from Amazon. Microphone, the Blue Yeti Podcaster. So this is good equipment. And then for editing software, I use a CyberLink Power DVD. I'll link all that in the description below. A lot of guys have asked me about YouTube, want to start channels, so just do it. Start the channel. If you have any questions, equipment related, channel related, I'm more than happy to help. I feel like, whether you want to do a completely different channel, or whether you want to do the same kind of content, some people say, well, wouldn't they be your competition? It's like, not really. The way I look at it, I barely scratched the surface on this 80s and 90s. If anything, if someone's putting out similar content on a channel like this or helping me, I'm never going to be able to cover all this stuff. I'm never going to be able to cover all this stuff. So you guys want to put out cool content, like I made this channel because I felt like there was something missing, and these are videos I wanted to see. So it's like, well, hell, I'll just make them myself then if no one else is making them. But if anyone else wants to join, I will watch your videos if you cover this stuff. So I'm happy. I find it more like you guys are helping me. You're not competing against me. You're helping get this stuff out there because there's an audience for it. I'm an audience member for it. So I'll watch your videos too if you want to make similar content. But anyway, the next question, Munchies452. Happy birthday to Viking Samurai channel. Love the content. Can't wait to see another interview series videos. Frank Dukes, Van Damme, Michael Jai White. Frank Dukes is probably the most likely of those 3, though I wouldn't doubt if Michael Jai White or Van Damme were on this channel someday. It'd be really cool. So, yeah, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Okay, so now for some pickups, some new movies and books I recently got. So I'll be reading and watching these and maybe even incorporating them in the channel somehow in the future. Let's start with the movies. I got these at the used, movie place, and it's kind of cool. Basically, just go in there. It's like a video store, like back in the old days where you just kind of they're in alphabetical order, but you're just kind of looking for stuff. And a lot of this stuff is $3.99. So it's like, well, hell, I mean, I know I could probably stream some of this stuff, but I like owning physical media. So the first one I got, the Expendables Extended Director's Cut, which I don't even own the Expendables on Blu-ray, so that was long overdue. Of course, I got the Expendables 2 as well. I need to revisit these because Expendables 4 is coming out, so I want to revisit these. I skipped part 3. Maybe I'll pick it up. I don't know. I didn't like part 3 that much. Other movies I got. Oh, Man on Fire. Amazing Denzel Washington movie. Now, obviously, he is such an incredible actor, but when he does, action stuff, it's ridiculously awesome. Speaking of which, it's also why I got The Equalizer. Another Denzel Washington great. Let me know if you want me to cover these. I know they're not 80s or 90s, but these are pretty badass action movies. Also, a Better Tomorrow remake, the Korean remake. I think this came out in 2010. Haven't seen it. Speaking of Korean stars, Ninja Assassin. Never seen this. This is the singer-songwriter Rain. He's a South Korean singer-songwriter. So, gonna check that out. And then Jason Statham. He's the guy that really was like Vin Diesel, I think, in the 2000s, as far as being the closest thing we had to like Stallone and Schwarzenegger, Van Damme, being in like studio films, higher budget action stuff. Statham was the guy. This is the mechanic. This is a remake, I think, of a Charles Bronson film. I'd have to watch that original one. Let me know in the comments if it's any good. I should definitely check out some of the old Charles Bronson stuff. Like I mentioned, Hard Times earlier, amazing film, but I gotta check out some of his other stuff as well, of course. All right, and last but not least, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's start off with the good comment. Sly Tendencies 87 says, 2 great years. You're a very positive and motivational man. You changed my entire perspective on the Steven Seagal situation, and your workout videos helped me learn some new tricks. Thanks, man. Oh, this is a great comment. Yeah, the Steven Seagal stuff, I put out various videos, make Steven Seagal great again, and then obviously getting to the bottom of the whole Gene LaBelle choking, did he poop his pants situation, like all this stuff. It's like, I'm really just pointing out a lot of the positives on Seagal, and there's too much negativity, so it's like kind of a counterbalance of sorts, and that's a really cool comment. Like, I enjoy that a lot, that let's keep an open mind to Steven. There's too much hate on him, man. Do we really need to keep adding that? It's like, no. I've talked to a lot of guys that really respect him as a martial artist, too, and I'm talking, like, high-level guys, like Alan Goldberg, for example, who is a kung fu master. I mean, he's been doing it for, like, 50 years, so he knows if somebody's good at martial arts or not. He knows Steven Seagal, and he's like, no, this guy is legit at martial arts. So I love hearing stuff like that. But it's funny that you always hear like these really high-level guys who's been doing it forever talk highly of Seagal's martial arts, whereas you got guys who probably don't even train talking shit about him. It's like, who are you going to listen to? Well, I'm going to listen to Alan. I don't know about you guys. But anyway, the workout videos helped him learn new tricks. So again, like I said, when I do my Getting in the Best Shape My Series at 40 updates, like, again, hopefully you guys can get like a few different things. Now, I mean, maybe one of you guys, a couple of you guys might be motivated to do the thing like exact, but if there's just a stretching tip there, or maybe a martial art drill tip there. Speaking of which, follow me on Instagram. I've been posting stuff on Instagram, and I'll be posting more stuff to try to give tips, but fitness or martial arts related. But I'll do the series on YouTube. So really cool that this guy had got something from the limited videos I put out, kind of covering some fitness related stuff. Okay, now the bad comment. Oh, this actually comes from my my response video from Frank Dukes calling me unethical. So Wayne Gotke said, ha ha ha, well, JCV and MJW get trashed all the time on this channel, and they are both more legit martial artists than Frank Dukes, so maybe he shouldn't take it personally. I only put this as a bad comment because I don't know what videos he's watching. I wouldn't say Jean-Claude Van Damme gets trashed on the channel at all. I mean, if anything, this is like a shrine to Van Damme in a lot of ways, right? Like, there's a lot of great, Van Damme content on here, very respectful. I mean, hell, I made the video, Why Jean-Claude Van Damme is the best on-screen fighter ever, right? Just showing my love for the guy's work. But as far as, like, the MJW getting trashed all the time on this channel, I can't really deny that. I mean, it came up in conversation on some of the video topics where, okay, it's not like the best pro Michael Jai White video, unfortunately, but it's an interesting topic in conversation that occurred. I would say the video I did on MJW, is he natural or not, like a natty or not, I thought that was very fair and very respectful, but in general, I can't deny what this guy says of MJW getting trashed to some degree on the channel. But the thing is, like, I don't even think Frank Dukes has necessarily gotten trashed on the channel. If you think about it, like, a couple of videos I put out, Sheldon Lettich, does Frank Dukes deserve credit? Bloodsport, Lionheart, Double Impact, Only as Strong. Sheldon Lettich totally gave him a lot of credit where credit was deserved, like on Bloodsport and Lionheart, but not on the other movies, man. I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. It's not like we're out to trash him. I mean, this is the guy that was there, and he's sharing the experience, so there's no reason to doubt Sheldon. But anyway, We'll get the other side someday. Hopefully, Frank Dukes comes on the channel. And now for the ugly comments. Oh, this came from the appreciating Frank Dukes. Like, should we appreciate Frank Dukes' contributions to the martial arts video I did? This was a conversation months ago. Anyway, Peter117B, he commented, "It looks like Viking Samurai is getting scared after defaming Dukes and is now attempting a kiss-up, LOL. Here's my response to him. You're an idiot. The point of this video, which was filmed several months prior to Dukes ever mentioning me, was to show that when Dukes comes up in conversation, there are bad things said about him, but also good. Also, this is a prime example about what I said in my response video to Dukes, that I am literally sitting on 100 videos I still need to edit, and the timing just made sense to get this one out." And then he replied, "Okay, Sally, whatever you say. Should call yourself Viking Samurai. What a waste your channel is." Then I replied, "What a waste your life is. I'm sure you can find better use of your time, especially on the weekend, other than being a hater and creating enemies." And then he replied, "Exposing pretenders like you is my mission." Exposing pretenders like me is his mission? So I replied, "Pretender in what way? It's just further proof you suck at whatever you do in life." He never replied to that. So here's the thing. Pretender in what way? Like, that I don't actually like the 80s and 90s, that I just bought all this stuff and created this channel because, like, just for the hell of it? Like, am I even into that stuff? Okay, so that part makes no sense. But as far as, like, the pretender in what? In, like, fitness or martial arts related stuff? That makes no sense. I mean, check out my Instagram, for example. Like, I posted this, you know, lifetime fitness, dude. This is me at 20, 30, and 40. Obviously, I've been doing this shit for a long-ass time consistently, you know, so that's proof right there that I'm not a pretender. You could just look at my martial arts related content, too, on Instagram. Like, I can still move really great, and I'm technically middle-aged. So, again, it's the consistency. There's no pretending here. Like, at the end of the day, I'm a fitness dude. I'm a martial arts dude. I'm a lover of the 80s and 90s action and martial arts movies. I just don't get, like, tell me in the comments, please, like, how am I pretending? Even if this guy sees it or if a new troll wants to come out. Like, pretending in what way? Please, I want to understand this because I just don't get it. But the irony is, this is coming from a Frank Dukes video, and he's basically, his life's mission is wanting to expose a pretender, which is me, on a Frank Dukes video. Anyway, let me know if you guys want to see more weekly updates, or if you guys got any questions for the next update, please post them below. I will field those questions in a future episode. Until next time, thanks guys for watching.